Ladies, have you ever wanted to do one thing but ended doing something else altogether? Take dieting, for example. I have the best of intentions. I know what foods are good for me and which ones I should stay away from. But sometimes that sweet treat just looks so good. Cakes, pies, cookies. Oh, I love them all. And they love me too. They stick to my thighs, my stomach. I used to tell people that I was allergic to certain things because when I ate them, I broke out in fat all over. Take candy corn, for instance. I can eat my weight in candy corn. Recently, I bought a big bag, took it home, and I told myself that I would only eat a little each day. Well, I'm pretty sure we all know how that worked out. 5 pounds later, I'm giving that candy corn away. The truth is that I was crazy enough to think that I could fight that temptation and have it so close to me and not give in to it. So I wanted to do one thing, control how much I ate, but I ended up doing something else, eating candy corn all day long. And I paid for that lack of self-control. Those of us who are Christians know that lack of self-control is a sin. We think we can be around temptations, but we can't. Not really. Even someone as strong as Paul had this same problem. Romans 7:15 through 16. For I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. Now, if I do what I do not want, I agree with the law that is good. In other words, Paul was saying, I just don't understand myself. I want to do what's right, but I just don't do it. I do the very thing I hate. I sin. I don't obey God's laws. And then I have to admit, God was right to have that law. You see, my sisters, God's laws are there to protect us and to guide us. So why wasn't Paul able to do the right thing? Romans 7:17 and 18. So now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. Now, when Paul says that it wasn't him that sinned, he's not making excuses. He points out that his actions are due to the sin that's in him. When he says that there's nothing good dwelling in him, he's not saying he's more of a sinner than most. He's saying that his flesh and his spirit are in a battle. And that's the same for all of us. Our flesh wants to gratify itself. It wants to do what feels good. When I read these words of Paul, I pause and think about my own life. Do I do what I know is right? Or do I take a different path, the fleshly path? Self-control is hard, isn't it, ladies? Sometimes when I'm angry, I really want to say what's on my mind. I want to tell a lie to cover my mistakes. I want to stay home when it's time to go to church or watch TV instead of reading my Bible. I want to gossip, be jealous of others. The list could go on and on. And I especially want to eat too much foods that I know are not good for me. Sometimes I want to sin. Sometimes I do sin. The only perfect person to walk this earth was Jesus, and I am certainly not Jesus. So what have we learned from Paul? We've learned that inside every human being is sin wanting to take control. It's not enough to know the laws of God or even just to want to do it. We must put our faith into action. And this won't be an easy task, but it's one that we should all be striving toward. Here's how Paul said that he did it. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. We must discipline our bodies and take control of what we allow our flesh to do. Like Paul, we won't be perfect. I'm so thankful for a loving, forgiving God who hears our prayers and grants our requests for wisdom and strength, aren't you? He knows that we are imperfect, but he loves us anyway. The truth is that we'll all be in a battle with our flesh until we're no longer in these earthly bodies. And that's okay. When we're a Christian, we're soldiers for Christ, and we know that He has already won the battle for us. If we remain faithful and keep trying to follow God's laws, soon we will have a home in heaven with Him for eternity. Thank you, my sweet friends, for watching. May God bless you until we are all together again. And until we are together again, please never forget that God loves you, and so do I.